Hello, fellow truth seekers. My name is Nicole DeCenzo. Welcome to my weekly devotional. Well, the past few weeks we've been talking about Islamic end-time beliefs, and we compared what they believe and looked at it from Revelation's perspective. And what we found was that their bad guy is our good guy, and our good guy is their bad guy. They are mirror images of each other. So what I want to do today is go over not necessarily anything more about those individuals, but I want to go over a little bit more of their beliefs so maybe that we can have our eyes wide open as we walk into the end times, that we won't be blindsided by what how the beast interacts. Okay, so what I first want to do is just remind you of last week. We talked about how Muhammad, when he first got on the scene, he broke treaties, and what he did is he went in and if he was a weaker party between two parties, he would make a treaty with this group of people, but he only did that to regroup and prepare for war. Okay, so then he would go in and conquer them and make them convert or be killed. And so that is what he did, and that's one of the ways that the West doesn't have that philosophy, so we can't really understand this, but that's exactly what they do. They wait in order to get stronger and then break the treaty and go in and try to conquer. In the same vein, right now we have soldiers over there. We used to have a lot more, but we had a lot of incidents where we had to work with people over there. We had to work with negotiators. We had to work with possibly translators. And so a lot of these translators, negotiators came in with our soldiers and were real friendly to them. And our soldiers are thinking, this is my friend. And then a couple weeks later, this friend, so-called friend, comes in as a suicide bomber or comes in and shoots a lot of soldiers. And it blindsides us because we were like, we were friends with this guy. But in the same vein, like they make the treaty, what they believe is that they can't befriend the infidel. And the infidel is anyone who does not believe in the Islamic God, most importantly the Christians and the Jews that don't believe in the Islam philosophy are the infidel. And so they can't befriend the infidel, and that is in the Quran. So let me read that to you. Okay, it says, "Take therefore none of them for friends till they have fled their homes for the cause of God. If they turn back, then seize them and slay them wherever ye shall find them, but take none of them as friends or helpers." Okay, so that's what we need to understand, and that is why in Revelation it says, "Who is like the beast? Who can make war with him?" Because if you think about it, if we don't know who's friendly and who's not, because those that are pretending to be friends could not be friends, okay? And so that is one of the main reasons Revelation says, "Who is like the beast? Who can make war with him?" Another reason that they say that is, for example, I was watching the TV probably about a year ago, and this mother got on the TV and said, "I just sent my son off to be a suicide bomber," and it wasn't a young son; it was an older son. But she sent him off, and he went into a crowd of, I think, Israelis and killed like 20 people. And she was praising him and saying, "I am so proud of him, and oh, if I could send all my children in to die for Allah, and He's the most merciful," and on and on and on about how great this was. I mean, how can we fight that if people are strapping bombs to children or to pregnant women or to a young man that you would never suspect? It's very hard to fight that ideology, and that is why in Revelation it says, "Who is like the beast? Who can make war with him?" Because you don't even know who the enemy is. Okay, so our soldiers are dealing with that over there all the time, and Israel's dealing with that all the time because it's hard to put a face on the enemy. Okay, so think about this: that lady that sent her son off to die. They are sending their children to die for Allah. Our God sent His Son to die for us. It's a big, big difference, okay? What else do they believe? Like I said in the last video, they do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. They do not believe He is part of the Trinity. They do not believe He died on the cross. So let me read you some of that. That is in the Quran. "Infidels now are they who say, God is a Messiah, son of Mary." Okay? And then over here it says, "Kill those who join other gods with God, wherever you shall find them, and seize them, besiege them, and lay in wait for them with every kind of ambush." Okay, so that's telling whoever combines another God with God, and they're saying another God with Allah, kill them, slay them, okay? So another thing you need to realize that the Dome of the Rock that is on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem actually has, far be it from God that he should have a son, around that dome on the inside, over and over, far be it from God that he should have a son. Okay, so that's one of their primary beliefs, is that God did not have a son. Jesus is not the Son of God. Okay, so we need to understand that. Those that say that Islam follows the same God as us, that is completely false. Okay, in that same vein, would God, okay, the true God, tell them to slay the Jews? Now, this is not in the Quran. This is in what we know as the Hadith, the other religious books of Islam. But this is what it says. The Prophet said, the last hour would not come unless the Muslims will fight against the Jews, and the Muslims would kill them until the Jews would hide themselves behind a stone or a tree, and a stone or a tree would say, Muslim or the servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. Okay, so does that sound like our God to you? No, that is not our God. It sounds like somebody else I know very well from Scripture, but I will not name names. Okay, let's move on. They believe that Christians are going, in the end times, are going to be either converted or killed, period. This matches Revelation and Seal 5 and 6, where the martyrs are under the altar saying, how long until you judge the earth, God? They believe that Jews are in for a total slaughter, okay, in the end times. They believe in beheading. We talked about that last week. We talked about how Revelation 24 says that saints will be killed by beheading, okay? That has that in the Quran. When ye encounter the infidel, strike off their heads till ye have made a great slaughter among them, okay? So that, again, is in the Quran. Now, in Daniel 7:25, it says the beast, or this person leading the beast, is going to try to change the set times in the law. What could that be? The set times are the feast. They're the appointments that God has made. The Passover, okay, and we celebrate Easter, but the Jews celebrate Passover. So they will try to change the calendar. Okay, when Muslims conquer a territory, they go by a completely different calendar than the Jews and the Christians. Okay, we go by a solar calendar. The Jews go by a solar lunar calendar, and the Muslims go by a strictly lunar calendar, and they try to change that whenever they come into a territory. Towards one of the first things they change the set times and the laws. And we talked about this last week. They're trying to institute Sharia law right now across the globe. Okay, Britain has Sharia law. They can go get tried for civil cases in their own courts in Britain. Here, things have been tried based on Sharia law. This is highly dangerous. We can't let that happen. That is the ideology of the beast. We need to banish it from our thinking. We are in America. We need to go by America's laws, and if you don't like America's laws, you need to get out of our country. So, I guess the main question that you may have is Islam peaceful? Because you hear this all the time. Now, I'm not saying there are not Muslims out there that do not want to slit our throats. There are Muslims out there that probably want to live in peace and harmony with everybody. The issue is, if you really go by the Quran, you can't be, okay? Because here's what happened. When Muhammad first got on the scene, he was peaceful. He tried to convert people through peaceful ways by talking to them. He was laughed out of town, okay? So pretty soon, he started raiding and pillaging, okay? And pretty soon, he was getting rich, and so more people joined him. They converted to his ways. They were paying richer and richer and richer, and grew and grew and grew. And once they grew, they went in and conquered territories, slaughtered villages, beheaded people, forced them to convert or be killed. And so what happens is, in the Quran, you have peaceful verses, okay? But other verses, like I just read to you, are not peaceful. But what it says in there is that Allah can change his mind. And the later verses overshadow the former verses, to where the later verses are what the true orders are, and the former verses are just something that Allah did, a little while ago, but right now, here's what you need to do. And so what they say is the peaceful verses are overshadowed by the later verses, because Allah can change his mind. And in Muhammad's day, you need to look at Muhammad and see what he did, and that should be true Islam. ISIS is following what the Prophet did, okay? And that's what we need to realize, and this is the stuff that's going to try to go global and try to convert everybody to Islam across the globe. It is also interesting how the Quran came to be, because Muhammad, what happened was he was alone, and an angel came to him and started choking him. Okay, so Muhammad was terrified of this angel, and he thought he was demon possessed. So he goes home and tells his wife, like, I'm demon possessed, and he tells her what happened. And she convinces him that it was God talking to him. Okay, but at first, Muhammad thought he was demon possessed. Okay, so keep that in mind as you think about all this stuff too. So, if true Islam is not peaceful, over 90% of the terrorist groups out there are Islamic. Okay, so that is really a high number. And if you go by the later verses of Muhammad, the revelations of Muhammad that came later, those are the verses that say, kill the infidel, behead the infidel, and all this good stuff. Okay, so we need to understand, maybe not all Muslims follow this, but it's hard to tell who is a peaceful and who is not when some of them are lying to you because they know they can do that to further their ends. Okay, so that is the ideology of the beast. Who is like the beast, who can make war with him? Again, we need to stop this while we can, and we need to get on the path of understanding what's going on, because we don't want to be blindsided. We don't want to be put the blindfolders on, and we need to know what is happening and go at it with all we have in order to stop it. So I hope that has helped you in some way understand a little bit more about the beast, and I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you back here next week.